Welcome back. So as we left off our last video on the insert constraint, we noticed that our rod here will rotate. And the way to stop that from happening is to use an angle constraint. Angle constraint has three different solutions. The first is directed angle, and this is what we typically use. We'll cover the other two in a more advanced video down the road. But if we spin our model around, we can select a face, and then we can also select a work plane. So it doesn't just have to be solid body geometry that we use as a reference. And so now we've got a 0-degree angle there, and we can hit apply. And now this has a value that we can also change. So let's set this to 90, and it's going to rotate my part accordingly. Another way that we can use an angle constraint, let's go ahead and place this square post, and let's do a mate. Now, I didn't cover this in the mate video, but you can mate edges as well. You cannot flush edges, but you can mate edges. So let's go ahead and mate these two edges together, and let's change our solution and hit apply. Now, how will this part move? Well, it'll rotate along around about the y-axis. I don't have any rule that says that it can't do that. It won't move up and down. It will slide from in the z, but it won't move in the x or the y. But it's going to do something interesting when we grab this. It's going to want to rotate. So it'll slide, and it will let me rotate it. And the reason being is two lines aren't a surface. So that mate constraint between those two edges acts like a hinge. So let's say that we knew that we wanted this part to have an angle between this bottom face and this top face of our base. We can constrain, angle constraint, and then repick directed angle. One thing Inventor does not do is it does not hold your last constraint type, which can be kind of frustrating, but just kind of get used to it and you'll be good to go. So if we pick this face and this face, it's going to give us a 0-degree angle. And so what would make it stand upright would be 180. So we would do 180 minus 45, and that's going to rotate the other direction. So we're going to do 45. So you can see how the angle is relative to where it is sitting. So if we made this 135, or we could make it 90. So it all depends on the angle that you input and how it's going to sit in there. So that's another way that we can use the angle constraint to have geometry behave in a certain way. Now you could also change the selection, and that's going to change the angle of how the angle is set. So there's another way that you can do that, and then once we hit OK, if we grab this and try to move it, now it's just going to slide along the z-axis. Okay, so that's going to cover angle constraints for now. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.